You don't deserve it until you become it. Let that sink in for a moment. Not until you say you want it. Not until you dream about it. Not until you post about it. But until every single cell in your body is aligned with the thing you say you desire. Everybody wants to talk about destiny. Everybody wants to talk about success. But destiny does not deliver to wishers. It delivers to workers. Success doesn't knock on your door because you want it. It knocks because you built the house, laid the foundation, and stayed long enough for the sound of your own hammer to echo back with purpose. The truth is simple but brutal. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. You can't attract wealth thinking poor. You can't attract greatness living average. You can't attract opportunity showing up halfway. Every blessing that was meant for you sits behind a locked door. And the key is not your desire, it's your development. Look at every legend that ever lived. Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Carnegie, Oprah, Disney. None of them deserved what they eventually received until they became the kind of people who could handle it. Edison failed 10,000 times before the light turned on. He didn't earn the glow until he became the man who could outlast the darkness. Ford went broke 5 times before the Model T. He didn't deserve innovation until he became the man obsessed with progress. See, what you want is one thing. What you're willing to become for it, that's everything. You can pray all day for a harvest, but if you never till the soil, you'll die waiting for rain. Every time you say you want something, success, peace, wealth, recognition, life looks back at you and asks, have you become the person who can hold it? Because until you grow into that version of yourself, it will always stay out of reach. Not because you don't deserve to be happy, but because happiness, wealth, purpose, they're heavy. They require hands strong enough to carry them. That's the part no one wants to hear. Everybody wants the crown. Few want the weight. Everybody wants the spotlight. Few want to spend years in the dark rehearsing when nobody claps. You say you want greatness, but greatness will test your patience, your pain threshold, and your faith. Because to become it, you must first lose who you are. Let me tell you, before you receive abundance, life will strip you of everything comfortable. Before you stand tall, life will bend you down to the dirt. Before you speak power, life will silence your voice. And that's not punishment, that's preparation. Because every version of you that still doubts, still fears, still procrastinates, cannot walk into the future you're praying for. You don't deserve peace while living in chaos. You don't deserve wealth while thinking in scarcity. You don't deserve freedom while still serving fear. To become it means to evolve your mindset, not just once, but daily. Every decision, every hour, every sacrifice is a vote toward the identity you're building. There's a moment every champion faces, that breaking point where you realize the old, you can't survive in the environment of your dreams. That's where people quit. That's where average people say, it's too hard. But you have to keep walking, because that's the threshold where transformation begins. You think it's about hard work, but it's not just work, it's identity. If you want to attract success, you must become the kind of person who naturally lives in discipline, in faith, in consistency. That's why so many fail. They try to achieve from a state of misalignment. They want success, but think failure. They want wealth, but speak limitation. They want love, but carry bitterness. You can't plant poison and expect fruit. Success is not an event, it's a mirror. And it reflects who you are when nobody's watching. When you stay up late after everyone's asleep. When you wake up before the world does. When you grind quietly while others scroll. You want the next level, then stop asking for it. Become it. Become disciplined. Become resilient. Become unstoppable. You can't fake frequency. Life knows your vibration. You can't lie to energy. It reads your actions, not your affirmations. The reason your vision feels distant is not because it's impossible. It's because your habits don't match it yet. You're standing in front of a locked door holding the wrong key. That key is forged through consistency, forged through faith, forged through fire. There's no shortcut around becoming. Every dream is a mountain. And before you stand on the summit, you must become the kind of climber who can survive the altitude. You must learn how to breathe thinner air, how to push when the legs shake, how to climb when the vision blurs. Because you don't deserve the view until you've earned the climb. You don't deserve it until you become it. And becoming is not a weekend project. It's a lifetime contract with growth. See, everybody loves the idea of transformation, but few are willing to face the mirror long enough to confront the truth staring back, because becoming isn't about adding more. It's about removing what no longer serves you. It's cutting off the excuses you've been feeding for years. It's silencing that soft voice in your head that says, tomorrow. It's burning down the version of yourself that survives on motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that never dies. You have to become addicted to consistency. You have to train your spirit to show up even when your emotions disappear. When Lincoln lost election after election, he didn't quit, he recalibrated. When Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination, he built a world where imagination never sleeps. When Thomas Edison's laboratory burned to the ground, he looked at the flames and said, "Thank God all our mistakes were burned up." That's not luck, that's identity. That's a man who became unbreakable through perspective. You can't deserve what you run from. You can't claim victory while clinging to victimhood. And you can't ask for blessings while cursing the lessons. Every time something goes wrong, that's life whispering, here's your training ground. The setbacks aren't stopping you. They're sculpting you. You're not being buried, you're being planted. But you must believe it before you see it, because that's where all transformation begins. In belief. Belief is the soil where every destiny grows. If your belief is weak, your results will wither. The world will always mirror your level of conviction. The moment you start believing small, you start living small. You can't think limitation and expect liberation. You can't think comfort and expect elevation. The moment you decide, truly decide, that you will become something greater, everything around you begins to shift. But let me be real, that shift isn't magic. It's not fireworks. It's not instant gratification. It's quiet, gritty, invisible progress. It's choosing to do the hard thing long after the mood has left. It's staying committed when no one's clapping. It's doing it again and again until excellence becomes your default setting. You have to stop negotiating with your old self, because the old you will always be cheaper, lazier, more comfortable. The old you wants to sleep. The old you wants validation. The old you wants shortcuts. But destiny only shakes hands with the version of you that refuses to compromise. Every morning when you wake up, life hands you a test. And the question is always the same. Who are you going to be today? Are you going to be the person who talks about it, or the one who becomes it? Are you going to keep scrolling, comparing, complaining, or are you going to rise, grind, and evolve? You want to win the morning. Stop hitting snooze on your potential. You want success. Stop delaying the decision to become successful. The longer you wait, the colder your dream gets. Every second you hesitate, someone else is becoming what you're afraid to be. Listen to me. You can't pray for opportunities you're not prepared for. The universe is not withholding blessings. It's waiting for you to level up. You say you want abundance, but you still operate with scarcity. You say you want greatness, but you still surround yourself with average. You say you want peace, but you keep feeding chaos. You want change. Then stop chasing comfort, because the comfort zone is where your potential goes to die quietly. Growth doesn't happen in safety. It happens in struggle, in those sleepless nights when doubt tries to choke your dream. It happens when your bank account says, not enough, but your heart says, keep going. It happens when no one believes in you, but you refuse to stop believing in yourself. The world doesn't respect intention. It respects execution. You can't inspire others with promises, only with proof. Talk less about what you're going to do and start living like the person who's already done it. Act from the future, not the past. Do you know why most people never become what they dream? Because they confuse activity with progress. They stay busy, but never build. They talk motivation, but never move mountains. They want miracles, but avoid mastery. You don't deserve to lead until you've learned to follow through. You don't deserve recognition until you've proven reliability. You don't deserve wealth until you've built the mindset to sustain it. You must first become before you receive. That's the law of life, the law that no one can bypass. If you get it before you're ready, you'll lose it. That's why the process matters. The grind protects you. The journey conditions you. The waiting seasons refine your character. When you finally become it, the world won't be able to take it from you. Because now it's not just something you have, it's who you are. Every struggle you're facing is the invitation to evolve. every disappointment, every delay, every heartbreak. It's all part of the transformation. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Life is not testing your dream. It's testing your identity. And I'll tell you something that might break your heart. Some people you love will not recognize you when you become it. They're still connected to your old frequency, your old story. But if they can't grow with you, you must keep going anyway, because your purpose can't shrink to fit their comfort. You're not here to stay familiar. You're here to grow phenomenal. You're not here to fit in. You're here to stand out. You're not here to repeat your past. You're here to rewrite your future. So stop asking when it's your time and start proving that you're the person who can handle the time when it comes. Because life doesn't hand out promotions to the unprepared. It promotes the disciplined, the faithful, the relentless. You don't deserve it until you become it, and the becoming never stops. Clarity, that's where the shift begins. Because before you can become anything, you must see it. You can't build what you can't visualize. You can't walk toward what you haven't defined. The reason most people never arrive is because they never chose a destination. They drift through life with blurry goals, hoping success will bump into them by accident. But clarity is not found, it's created. You have to sit with yourself and ask the hard questions. Who am I becoming? What do I stand for? What kind of life do I refuse to die without living? Because until you define it, you'll keep chasing distractions disguised as opportunities. Every great achiever had a clear picture long before the world saw it. Carnegie saw steel empires before he had one. Henry Ford saw highways filled with ordinary people driving cars before anyone believed it was possible. Walt Disney saw castles and characters before there was even a sketch on paper. They became what they saw, and the world adjusted to their vision. You must understand, vision is not fantasy. It's a preview of what's possible when you align your faith with action. But here's the part nobody wants to talk about. Clarity will cost you confusion. Once you know who you are, you'll realize how much of your life has been lived as someone else. Once you know what you want, you'll see how many habits, people, and mindsets don't belong in your future. That's when the pruning begins. Becoming requires cutting. You can't hold on to everything and expect elevation. The higher you climb, the lighter you must travel. You will lose friends. You will outgrow environments. You will face isolation. But isolation is not punishment. It's incubation. That's where the seeds of greatness germinate, away from the noise, away from validation, in the quiet corners of discipline and doubt. Listen to me. Purpose doesn't show up when life is easy. Purpose reveals itself when you've been stripped of comfort. When your plans collapse and your only option is faith, that's when you realize what you were born for. Because purpose is forged in fire. And if you can stand the heat, you'll become unstoppable. The people who change the world are not the ones who have everything figured out. They're the ones who refuse to quit while they're figuring it out. You think clarity is a lightning bolt moment. It's not. It's a lifelong refinement. Every season you grow, your purpose grows with you. What used to motivate you will evolve. What used to scare you will strengthen you. What used to define you will no longer fit. That's not confusion. That's progress. You don't deserve clarity until you've endured the chaos that builds it. Because understanding comes from experience. The pain you survived was the tuition for your wisdom. The storms you faced gave you sight. Every failure taught you how to see sharper, act wiser, and move stronger. Vision without discipline is hallucination. You can dream all you want, but if your daily habits contradict your goals, you're just decorating mediocrity. The universe rewards alignment. When your actions, words, and mindset move in one direction, that's when the doors open. That's when people call you lucky. But luck is just consistency meeting opportunity. Look around. Every successful person has the same secret. They didn't stop. They stayed when others quit. They worked when others slept. They sacrificed when others complained. They didn't ask for guarantees. They built evidence. Because faith is not hoping it will happen. Faith is acting like it already has. You want to attract success, then start living like you already deserve it, not through entitlement, but through embodiment. Speak excellence, walk excellence, breathe excellence. The way you show up in the small things reflects how you'll handle the big ones. If you cut corners now, you'll crumble later. If you treat minor details like they don't matter, you'll never master the major ones. You don't become successful when you hit a milestone. You become successful when your mindset refuses to tolerate mediocrity. That's when something inside you shifts, when you stop chasing results and start chasing refinement. Because the process is the prize, the habits are the harvest. The person you become along the journey is worth more than the destination itself. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it, you lay a brick on that bridge. One decision, 1 hour, 1 rep, 1 sacrifice at a time. The bridge doesn't appear overnight, it's built daily. That's why most never cross it. They want instant reward without delayed gratification. But there's no fast track to greatness. The grind is sacred. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. You have to train your mind to crave the uncomfortable, to love the early mornings, the long nights, the lonely seasons, because those are the chapters that write your legacy. You'll never rise above your standards. If you tolerate laziness, you invite mediocrity. If you allow excuses, you reject excellence. Discipline is not punishment. It's protection. It guards your purpose from destruction. It shields your future from your impulses. You can't control the outcomes, but you can always control your effort. And that's what life measures when it decides what you deserve. You don't deserve it until you become it. And you don't become it until you live it, breathe it, repeat it, until it's not what you do, it's who you are. The world doesn't care about your potential. It only responds to your proof. And your proof is your becoming. Resilience, the word sounds simple, but it's the dividing line between those who dream and those who arrive. Because life, my friend, is not a straight line, it's a battlefield. It will hit you harder than your enemies ever could. It will test your will, your patience, and your belief in yourself. And if you don't become resilient, if you don't develop the muscle to get back up every time you fall, you'll never taste the life you were designed to live. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It's about absorbing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel. Every scar you carry is a survival story, proof that you endured what tried to destroy you. You can't become strong without struggle. You can't grow roots without rain. You can't lead others until you've led yourself through darkness. Look at history's giants. Abraham Lincoln battled depression, loss, and failure before he became one of the greatest leaders of all time. Henry Ford was ridiculed for his vision of affordable cars, told that no one needed them. Walt Disney was fired for lacking creativity. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Edison failed more times than most people ever tried. What made them different wasn't luck. It was resilience. They refused to let failure have the final word. You see, resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. You build it when you refuse to quit, when you choose to show up again and again, even when it hurts, when you keep pushing forward while your heart is breaking, while your pockets are empty, while your body is exhausted, while your faith is fading. That's resilience. And here's the truth: your pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Every hardship is teaching you something your comfort never could. You think you're breaking down, but you're actually breaking through. You think the pressure is crushing you, but it's crafting your strength. Diamonds don't form in calm. They're created under pressure. You're not being buried, you're being built. When life takes something from you, don't collapse, construct. Use the rubble to build something new. Every loss can either become your limit or your lesson. The choice is yours. You don't deserve success until you can survive failure. You don't deserve peace until you've learned to stand in the storm without losing your calm. You don't deserve the spotlight until you've mastered the shadows. The world will not hand you victory until you've proven you can hold it without losing your humility. And that's where gratitude enters the story, the secret ingredient that transforms pain into power. Gratitude is not weakness, it's strength disguised as stillness. It's the ability to say, I'm thankful, even here. Thankful in the struggle, thankful in the waiting, thankful in the lesson. Because gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. You can't build abundance from scarcity. You can't build joy from resentment. You can't build peace while counting problems. Gratitude is the great alchemist. It turns ordinary moments into miracles. The grateful heart is magnetic. It attracts opportunities, relationships, and breakthrough. Not because life changes, but because you do. Every morning, you have two choices. complain about what's hard or commit to what's possible. And if you choose gratitude, you give yourself power over your circumstances. Gratitude doesn't ignore the struggle. It transforms your perspective so the struggle doesn't own you. You think resilience is about fighting. Sometimes it's about surrender, not to defeat, but to purpose. It's about saying, I don't understand it yet, but I trust it's growing me. That's how warriors think. That's how legacies are born. Adaptability, that's the next level of resilience. It's not enough to survive, you must adjust. The world will change faster than you expect. Opportunities will vanish and reappear in forms you don't recognize. If you're too rigid, you'll break. If you're too stubborn, you'll stay stuck. The winners aren't always the strongest. They're the most adaptable. The oak tree looks powerful, but in a storm, it snaps. The reed bends and survives. Learn to bend without breaking. Learn to shift without losing yourself. Life won't always go according to your plan, but it will always go according to your preparation. When your plans crumble, pivot. When the path closes, carve a new one. Don't pray for an easier road. Pray for stronger legs. You don't deserve freedom until you learn flexibility. Because freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about becoming whoever you need to be, no matter what life throws your way. The resilient, adaptable, grateful soul, that's the soul life rewards. Because when you combine those qualities, you stop chasing blessings and start embodying them. The world feels your energy before it hears your words. You walk differently. You speak with conviction. You carry a calm that comes from surviving your own storms. And when that moment comes, when the thing you've been chasing finally arrives, you won't just take it, you'll own it, because you've become it. The world can take titles, money, and fame, but it can't take you. The identity you built in the fire can't be stolen. That's why the process matters more than the prize, because the process is where you become the person who can keep what you've earned. Anyone can get lucky once, but only those who've been forged by failure can stay on top. So hear me, don't ask for it until you're ready to become it. Don't pray for greatness until you're ready to be disciplined. Don't wish for success until you're willing to work in silence. Don't demand freedom until you've conquered your own fear, because the truth, the eternal truth, is this: you don't deserve it until you become it, and becoming never ends. It's a daily devotion, a spiritual grind, a lifelong evolution. Every day you wake up is another chance to align your actions with your assignment, another chance to look at the reflection in the mirror and say, today I'm becoming more. Not perfect, not finished, but becoming, and that's everything. Because one day, when the world looks at you and calls you successful, you'll smile knowing they only see the surface. They don't see the years you spent building, breaking, believing. They don't see the tears, the late nights, the lonely hours. But you'll know deep down that every ounce of it was worth it. Because you didn't just get it, you became it. And now we arrive at the moment where everything you've been through, every failure, every sacrifice, every late night, every heartbreak starts to make sense. This is the part life was preparing you for. The version of you that once begged for a breakthrough is gone. The version that doubted, complained, hesitated, gone. You've been stripped, tested, refined, and now you are becoming everything you were meant to be. See, life never withholds what's yours. It waits for you to grow into it. The dream doesn't die, the dream waits. The door doesn't close. It stands there silently, asking, are you ready now? And the answer isn't in your words, it's in your walk. You can't talk your way into destiny. You have to transform your way there. The future belongs to those who are bold enough to believe they can rewire who they are. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are the architect of your next chapter. You are not defined by what broke you. You are refined by how you rebuild. Listen to me carefully. There's a difference between wanting and willing. Everybody wants a better life, but only a few are willing to live like it's already theirs. Only a few are willing to let go of the lies they've told themselves. The lie that says, you're not enough. The lie that says, you've missed your chance. The lie that says, it's too late. It's not too late. It's never too late to become what you were created to be. The time you think you lost was never wasted. It was training. Every delay was discipline. Every detour was direction. You think you're behind, but you're right on time for your timeline. When you finally understand that, That life was never against you. It was growing you. That's when power hits your spirit. That's when you stop chasing and start attracting. That's when you stop begging and start becoming. Look around, the world is full of people who gave up too soon. People who had the fire but not the faith. People who started strong but never became strong enough to finish. But not you, not anymore. Because you know now, you can't cheat the grind. You can't fake the frequency. You can't skip the seasons of struggle and still expect the strength that comes from them. You don't deserve success until you've been broken and built again. You don't deserve respect until you've shown up when nobody watched. You don't deserve abundance until you've learned to live with gratitude when you had nothing. Every time you were knocked down, you were being prepared to rise higher. Every closed door was a lesson in patience. Every loss was the shaping of your character. The universe is not cruel, it's precise. It will strip you of everything that blocks your evolution. And if you resist it, you'll feel pain. But if you surrender to it, you'll find purpose. That's what becoming really means, surrender. Surrendering your ego, your excuses, your expectations, and allowing life to make you into the person you were always meant to be. When a seed is buried in the ground, it looks like it's being buried, but it's actually being planted. The dirt that covers it isn't punishment, it's protection. The darkness that surrounds it isn't death, it's development. And when the time is right, that seed doesn't just grow, it breaks through. That's you. You are breaking through. You've been underground long enough. You've been doubting long enough. You've been waiting long enough. The time to become is now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because the world is desperate for people who have become, people who live what they preach, people who are walking proof that transformation is real. The world doesn't need more talkers. It needs torchbearers. And you carry the fire. Stop chasing the life you want. Embodied it. Move like the version of you that already won. Think like the version of you that already conquered. Walk like the version of you that already broke through the limits. When your identities shift, your results will follow. When your mind believes, your reality begins to bend. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need approval. You've already been chosen by the very breath in your lungs. If you're still alive, it means your mission isn't finished. You're still being shaped. You're still being built. You're still becoming. And that's why the pain still visits, because there's still more to forge. There's still another layer of greatness waiting to be revealed. You are not being punished for your past. You're being positioned for your purpose. When you understand that, when you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what for, everything changes. The storm stops being your enemy and becomes your instructor. The obstacle becomes the opportunity. The pain becomes the prophecy. You'll stop running from the fire and start walking through it. Because you'll know now that the fire is not there to destroy you. It's there to distinguish you, to burn away everything that's not meant to go with you to the next level. This is your awakening. This is your moment. The part of the movie where the music swells, where the character stands up after being knocked down one last time, bloodied, tired, but unbreakable. That's you. You are that character. You are the hero of your own story. And the next scene, it's waiting for you to write it. So write it with conviction. Write it with courage. Write it with faith. Every second you have is a sentence in the story of your legacy. Don't let it be a story of fear. Let it be a story of becoming, because when it's all said and done, when your name is spoken long after you're gone, they won't remember how fast you got there. They'll remember that you became something powerful, something real, something rare. They'll remember that you didn't just chase dreams, you embodied them. They'll remember that you didn't just talk about faith, you walked it. They'll remember that you didn't just survive, you transformed. You don't deserve it until you become it. And now you have. You've walked through the darkness. You've carried the weight. You've built the strength. You've faced the reflection. You've earned the right to rise. So stand tall, breathe deep. Look at how far you've come. The world is waiting for the version of you that no longer hesitates, no longer hides, no longer doubts. Walk into your destiny. Speak like it's yours. Move like it's inevitable, because it is. And when you finally reach that mountaintop, when you finally stand in the sunlight of everything you once prayed for, don't forget to look down at your scars. Smile at them, because those scars aren't signs of weakness. They are proof that you became. You didn't just earn it. You didn't just dream it. You became it, and now you deserve it.